Hi, my name is Elizabeth Foster, and I am joined today by an incredible coach. I'm very excited to be interviewing him. His name is John Beaman. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It's wonderful to be with you today.
Thank you. And I have been looking forward to interviewing you because I know that you're quite an exceptional coach. You've got a very interesting background, actually, and it's very and very diverse in so many things. But I'm not going to give the game away. I'm going to let you talk about that. So, John, tell us, what is your speciality in coaching?
My specialty, Elizabeth, in coaching is the application of success principles in individuals' lives, both personally and professionally.
The application of success principles. Tell me more about that. That sounds fascinating.
You know, when you look at success principles and you look at the dynamics of the implementation of those principles in people's lives, I've had the opportunity to literally coach over 40,000 coaching sessions. And literally being able to work with individuals from startups to small businesses, all the way to senior Fortune 500 or C-suite executives. And one thing that I found is that when you're moving from where you are to where you want to be, it's taking those principles and applying them in your life, whether it's business acumen, whether it's personal development. There's many different applications that once you apply them, it creates a different dynamic as far as the outcome. And so literally being able to help individuals move from where they are to where they want to be in all aspects of their lives.
So it doesn't really matter where they are or what their background is. You apply those same principles, those success principles, to them.
100%.
That's so 100%. Cool. I like it. It sounds fascinating. I want to have a go myself. I'm like, ooh, I think I might need some coaching with you.
Thank you.
But tell me, I'm always curious. What makes a coach a coach? What is that tipping point? What is that certain something that happened that then they go, oh, this is what I want to do? Tell me your coaching story.
100%. You know, when I first started in coaching, there were 3,000 coaches worldwide, and now there's over 50,000 coaches. So it was truly a serendipitous moment. My heart literally has always loved coaching. I didn't even know, even when I first started in that industry, understanding what coaching was and what it does. I strive to be a servant leader, and I strive to bring out the best in each individual that I serve. And so that is truly my strength, and my forte is understanding who the individual is, understanding where they are, understanding where they want to be, and then helping them to break through any mental barriers to move from where they are to where they want to be. And to do that with honor and with honoring each individual and helping them move through any mental barriers, any mental blocks.
And I can imagine there's a lot of people that would actually really benefit from those mental blocks, and you know, we all have them, really, don't we? We all have that saboteur in our head, or something that says, you know, we can't, we're not good enough, we're whatever we happen to be, and that, as you're saying, is really holding us back. And so you actually address those issues.
100%, Elizabeth. I was lucky enough to start with Zig Ziglar back in the 90s. And I coached his Over the Top program, which was the sequel to his See You at the Top book that he wrote. And he focuses on goal setting. He focuses on the attitude of gratitude. There's so many different principles that are not only success principles. They're not only success principles for life, they're success principles for business. There are success principles in almost every modality that you can think of, because it's really, the difference is anybody can pick up a book and read. I've got plenty of books behind me, so to speak. Anybody can read a book, but it's not the information that's in the book, it's the application of that information in that person's lives, and then helping them to understand what may be holding them back, and being able to really and have a safe, secure place where they, because coaching, as you know, is also a place of vulnerability, because people are really sharing what are some of the things that they may not share with the average person, so to speak. These are very dear and very, very protected paradigms, perceptions, beliefs, and it's also is at the subconscious level. Sometimes it's kind of like you don't know what you don't know yet. So it's literally, it's understanding. When I listen to the language, there's a favorite quote that I have that says, the language you speak creates the emotion you live. The language you speak creates the emotion you live. And so if during a conversation I hear the if and the but and the can't and the won't and the don't and the should and the probably and the someday, all of those are words that limit behavior. They limit performance. They limit ability. And so by allowing yourself to be available, to work with a coach, to help break through some of those mental barriers, you're breaking down those walls that sometimes hold yourself captive, and you're able to break through. And then when you see better results and you see better outcomes, you choose the higher road. You choose that higher path, because you know that the old path was not serving your needs to take you from where you are to where you want to be.
So, I mean, I can imagine that the coaching that you're just describing, and working with you know, to really take those people on that incredible journey. I mean, who actually would benefit from working with you then?
Really, it's entrepreneurs, small business owners, senior executives, anyone that really wants to take their business or personal initiatives to the next level. So again, I look at coaching as an honor to be a catalyst to help individuals to move from where they are to where they want to be, and then to challenge those paradigms and those perceptions to help them think more clearly and objectively, and then be able to achieve those goals. That's the key in moving individuals forward, is being able to help them to understand where they are and what could be holding them back. And then really being able to apply all those different resources and tools. So there definitely can be specific curriculum. If a client is focusing on, when I work with Entrepreneur Magazine and Rich Dad Entrepreneur as a focus, then I would work with individual business owners that maybe they wanted to work on writing a business plan, or they needed to understand defining their marketing opportunities, or defining their value proposition. There's so many, assessing your competition. I mean, there's a vast myriad of differences of where you can go, but it's really understanding where they are and what's holding them back, and then giving them the tools and the resources that help break down those barriers, whether it's knowledge, education, application, it's all of the above.
I think that's, I think what you talk about really having that application is so powerful, because it's you know, the words or the knowledge, unless they're actually applied,
100%.
are just words, aren't they, really?
Yeah, like you said, you can get a lot of knowledge. Yeah. Robert Kiyosaki even shares, if one of the principles that he shares is that if an individual, for example, librarians, there's enough knowledge in a library that everyone could be a millionaire, so to speak. But it's not, again, it's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know. So it's the information is important because it educates and inspires, and it can motivate, but it's taking that knowledge and then turning it into a skill and an ability and developing habits over time. You know, that's the other thing that you're already aware of, that principle that shares that when someone has studied a particular modality for over 10,000 hours, they become an expert at that modality. And so, having had the opportunity to be a coach for over 25 years with some of the most world-renowned authors and speakers and presenters, I've had that. I'm very grateful that I've had that opportunity to have that experience.
I can imagine. I can only imagine being on the receiving end of your coaching must be quite phenomenal. And actually, maybe you can share a little bit of that, John. I'm curious to, obviously without transgressing any confidentialities, but maybe you could just share a little bit of a coaching experience that you know, with one of your clients.
Absolutely. One of the clients that I had the opportunity to work with actually was, he owned an advertising agency in which he worked with Top Marquee, which is of Monaco. I have an example here of this was the Prince's magazine that he created for Force One of Monaco. You just share this was presented, I apologize, let me just go ahead and take this out. This was presented to Prince Albert II and also Sir Roger Moore. And it's just an incredible experience in which, when you look at the dynamics, this is the very first page. I don't know if you can really see that as well.
Yeah, I can, yes.
But again, being able to help him with navigating through, obviously in that type of a background and dynamic, there were certain roadblocks, there were certain barriers to entry, and certain, I don't want to say political forms per se, but there was being able to work with the prince and being able to interview his best friends and being able to have that dynamic of that engagement at this level. I mean, you can see the individuals that were part of this. It was just an incredible. He truly called it not only a labor of love, but it was truly one of the most dynamic experiences that my client had, and being able to present that at the gala to the prince and to Sir Roger Moore was one of the highlights of his life. And I was just grateful to be a part of that journey.
Wow, that sounds like quite an incredible journey, actually. And I mean, I can tell that you're very passionate about what you do. And when you talk about your clients and when you talk about the masters in a way that you've actually learnt from. So what actually, you know, what is that thing, you know, you're passionate, but what really gives you the joy in coaching?
Well, the joy comes from seeing individuals apply those success principles in their lives and achieving their goals. It's really the bottom line is being able to, their joy gives me joy. And so we celebrate together. It's the dynamic and the excitement of being able to see individuals move from where they are to where they want to be. And that's not just an expression, that's an experience. And when they get to live it, you know, there's another quote that says, do not dream your experience, experience your dreams. One reality is worth 1,000 dreams. It's being able to see their light and the love that's in their eyes of being able to achieve specific goals that they've always wanted to achieve. And that could be greater unity in the family. That could be achieving a career goal. It's just any goal that a person has, whether it's personal or professional, I look at, there's 8 areas of life. There's physical, there's spiritual, there's mental, family, career, financial, social, and community. And you can set goals in all of those areas. And to have, to really work on the full dynamic of that circle to where you're maximizing your potential in each of these areas, that's what brings me the greatest joy.
And I'm thinking you're going through all of those different areas in your head, and there's a part of me that's like going, oh yeah, I could really do with working on that, and yeah, I could do with working on that as well. So I'm sure I'm not alone there. I'm sure there's many people that would benefit greatly from working on their goals with you.
Thank you.
So let's kind of, in a way, come off the subject of coaching, just a little bit, and let's find out a little bit more about John. Who is John, and what is there? I'd like to find out, something unique about you. What is there that maybe people don't really know about you?
Well, one thing that's very unique, and this was a great opportunity. I had the opportunity to be raised in my great-great-grandfather's house that was built in 1796.
Wow, that's old. Certainly in this country, it's very old.
That was back in New England. So literally, there's a great heritage that I have back in New England. I truly am grateful for those who have literally paved the way and have sacrificed and have worked hard and have left a legacy that I get to be a benefactor, to have that benefit in my life.
I think that's quite something, actually. I don't think many people could claim that. What was that? The great-grandfather? Is that what you said?
It's a few greats. I'm not sure.
It's a few greats. It's a few greats. It's like it's a little.
Yeah,
okay, I get it.
It took him 10 years to build the home, and wow. It's really interesting. They would build the house, and then they would invite their new bride to move in after the house was complete, so to speak. So
wow. We
had chestnut beams. We had, just it was just a very vintage era, and it was, sometimes if we go into the attic, it was almost like going into a museum, because we had 2 spinning wheels. We had all types of, that part of the house, they actually, that was called the shop, they actually made carriages in that part of the shop.
Wow.
And so we had, the auger.
Sounds like it should be a museum. So tell me, obviously we know your work life, you're a coach, and you are obviously very passionate and very good at what you do. But what about outside? I mean, as coaches, we know about the work-life balance. What do you do
100%.
to balance your life?
Well, I love the outdoors. I love anything that, as far as both travel, definitely like the fun in the sun, love the beach. We love Caribbean, going to Hawaii, different places that are just snorkeling. We're sea certified, my wife and I. So just being able to enjoy time with family and just the beauty of nature. It's truly a gift.
It's, yeah, that I can definitely empathize with you there. I'm a big traveler myself, so I get it. And what about, again, talking of us as coaches doing what we set our clients to do, which is always about goals. Mm-hmm. Tell us about your personal goals.
Well, currently I'm an ambassador, and I'm promoting and finishing that. I'm an ambassador for the Responsibility Foundation, and the Responsibility Foundation is finishing the work of Stephen R. Covey and Viktor Frankl. And one of the things that Viktor Frankl said is, he said, if we are to preserve our nation's liberties, he said, liberty plus responsibility equals freedom. And so the monument, this is actually the monument that's on my lapel. It's 2 hands that are clasped, and they're upward, as it's literally it's hand in hand. We're taking responsibility. We're exercising our freedoms to preserve our liberty. And so that is one of the things. It's a movement and a monument that educates, elevates, and inspires individuals. And it's literally going to be that's the goal. Is they are wanting to have. That's what Stephen Covey and Viktor Frankl said, is that you want to have the Statue of Liberty and the Statue of Responsibility to bookend that Statue of Liberty. And so that's something I'm very passionate about, is breaking human barriers as far as paradigms, beliefs, as well as inspiring and motivating individuals to cling to that liberty that's within themselves and within their countries and their nations, to be able to preserve those rights.
I think that's fascinating. Wow, that's very ambitious and a good, solid, worthy cause to have in your life.
100%.
So, John, you've spoken about Zig Ziglar, many other people. I'm not even going to start with reeling off the list, actually, because I'll be here all day. So, but I can imagine you must have a lot of people that all those people that you've worked with. But who is it that you really admire, and why?
I truly admire Jack Canfield. He embodies everything that literally I want to be, both as an individual, as an author, as a presenter, as a speaker. Very genuine, very authentic, very loving, compassionate soul that really sees the soul in each individual. It's kind of like the namaste, so to speak. When you walk into Jack's presence, he loves and truly cares about everybody he meets, and he makes them feel like $1 million. It's truly been an honor and a privilege being able to work with him and to be one of his coaches.
Wow. And it's so funny you talk about that, because I know somebody else that's been very close with Jack Canfield as well, and she said exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And someone else said, it's like, when you've had a hug from Jack, it's like nothing else in the world. I'm like, wow, okay, well, I've not had a hug from Jack. Maybe I will one day. So just kind of wrapping up, I'm just, thinking about, I'm always curious, coaches are always about change and, creating change in the world, and whether it's in our own internal world or whether it's in the world, our family, our friends, our work. But I'm always curious, if there was one thing that you could change, what would that be?
It's giving children more tools, more abilities, giving parents more tools, more abilities. It's the empowerment of the individual. And when you take success principles, or you take any principles of truth, one of my favorite quotes is, "I accept truth wherever truth can be found." When you give people truth, you give them the opportunity to choose. And through that choice, you give them empowerment. And through that empowerment, they can make better choices, and they can bless and enrich so many more people's lives. And so that's why I love coaching, is because it gives people better choices and better abilities to live a more empowered life and a more value-driven life. And every day, that's why I wake up and why I do what I do.
I think that's very valiant and a very kind-hearted explanation of what's important to you. John, I could carry on talking to you for a long, long time. I've so enjoyed getting to know you a little more, to understand, how you work with people, and to really experience your passion for coaching. It's quite astounding. It really is. And I can see that deep care that you have
100%.
is who you are absolutely through and through, and very authentic. But we do kind of have to call it a day right now. But I want to thank you for coming and for spending this time and for sharing your wisdom and your insights with us. And I would recommend anybody that is thinking about hiring a coach, who actually really wants to make some powerful changes in their life, to get in touch with John. He's a great coach. He's a great man. And thank you so much for joining us. And I've really enjoyed it.
Take care, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.